This is ESPN, the expanding sales of beef network. Welcome to Beef Fundamentals for Fans and Players, the show where Hall of Fame coach Chuck Grinder shows you the X's and O's behind game-winning plays. Now, here's your host, the coach, Chuck Grinder.
Hi, folks. It's great to be here. You know, the beef game is a game for fans and players. Today we'll take a look at the basics of beef selection, storage, and handling. First, let's start with the things that your customers ought to know to make beef meal game plans come out a winner. And the very first thing is selection. Take it from this coach. You want a winner. And therefore, choosing the best players for your team is critical. When it comes to selection, look for beef that's bright cherry red in color. Like that, right there. Avoid gray or brown splotches. If the beef is vacuum packed, it'll look purple, but that's okay. A few minutes after you open it, it'll develop that nice cherry red color. Another thing to check is the temperature. Uniformly cold to the touch is best. Also, look for a tightly wrapped and a well-sealed package. Check it out. There it is. It's best not to choose leaky or poorly sealed packages. And you know, we coaches usually like to play veterans. But when it comes to beef, check the sell-by date and buy it on or before that date. And finally, make sure all the beef and all the perishable items you buy are the last things you put in your cart. Try to get them home and in the fridge within 30 minutes. And if you can't do that, well, put them on ice in a cooler in the car. Hey, you don't want to ruin the game plan before the game even starts, do you? Okay, gang, great job at the store. Now, you got to take the home field advantage. So let's go to work and make sure our defense is set. Defense, that's right. Defense against foodborne illness. Remember, good defense wins championships. So use your best weapon, the cold. Let's take a look at the playbook. I mean, the beef refrigeration and freezer storage times chart. And see what the times look like for refrigerating and freezing all that great beef you just brought home. Now, beef cuts that have some weight to them, like steaks and roast. 3 to 4 days in the fridge, 6 to 12 months in the freezer. Beef that's cut up into pieces, like you buy for kebab, stir fry and such. 2 to 3 days in the fridge, and again, 6 to 12 months in the freezer. Now, ground beef gives you less time. It's more perishable because surface bacteria gets mixed inside when it's ground. So it's good for only 1 to 2 days in the fridge or 3 to 4 months in the freezer. And then there's leftovers. And take it from me, leftovers can be turned into some of the best beef meals there are. Get the leftover cooked beef in the fridge within 2 hours after cooking, or 1 hour on hot days. Now, if you divide the big leftovers into smaller sizes, or if it's like chili or stew, then spread it out in a shallow container. It'll get colder faster, and that's what you want. You can save leftover beef for only 3 to 4 days in the fridge, or in the freezer for 2 to 3 months. All right, so like I said, the first play from scrimmage when you get home from the market is to get that beef in a cold place. Put the beef in the coldest part of the refrigerator. That's the meat compartment, there. Or an inside shelf in the back, there. Don't store meat in the door. Your refrigerator should be set to 35 to 40 degrees, and it's easy to check it with a thermometer. Now, let's say you bought a steak wrapped in clear film. You don't have to rewrap it, but it's a good idea to put it in a leak-proof bag or container to keep it from leaking. Now, if you aren't going to make a meal with the beef that you bought within a few days, you should freeze it. And the faster you can get that beef frozen, the less moisture and flavor it'll lose. So, be sure your freezer's set to 0 degrees or colder, kind of like some of those games we played up in Green Bay. If you plan on using the beef within a couple of weeks, then it's okay to freeze it in the package you bought it in. But if it'll be in there longer, you got to rewrap it in heavy-duty aluminum foil or freezer paper or plastic bags. And be sure to get as much air out of the package as you can. You know how the referees have instant replay to sort out the confusion on the field? Well, you don't have that at home. So it's a real good idea to label the beef that you put into the freezer with the date, the cut, and the number of servings. And always remember the FIFO rule. That's first in, first out. The order that you use, the packages from your freezer. Okay, last thing, thawing. When we play games in extremely cold weather, sometimes it takes a while to warm up. When you thaw frozen beef, you need even more time. Move the beef from the freezer to the refrigerator the day before it's needed and let it thaw overnight. To keep everything neat, I like to put the beef in a tray or in a shallow dish to catch any juices. See? Easy. Okay, one more thing. Let's talk beef safety. There are just a few simple rules to follow, and they're all based on keeping surfaces clean. So let's avoid any flags or penalties. Rule number 1, keep your hands clean. Wash them in hot soapy water before and after handling any raw foods, including meat, poultry, or fish. Rule number 2, when you're preparing the food, keep raw meat and juices from coming into contact with other food. Never, ever put cooked foods on the same surface that held raw meat, whether it's a tray, a platter, or a plate, unless it's been washed in hot soapy water first. Rule number 3, wash everything with hot soapy water once it's come in contact with raw meat or poultry. Things like utensils, cutting surfaces, counters, carving boards. Rule number 4, keep carving boards separate from other cutting boards. And there you have it, the fundamentals beef fans need to know for proper beef selection, beef storage, and beef handling. I'm Coach Chuck Grinder. Thanks for watching Beef Fundamentals for Fans and Players. Join us next time when we'll talk to players around the league about their favorite cuts of beef. Until then, so long, and remember, when you've got beef fundamentals, you've got a winner.